His first tour stop was in Torrance. Shooting first, though, will be Derek. And I just blew one, looking at the wrong sheet. Sorry about that. It is Bishop that will be the opponent of Derek. There he is. Yes, he is colorful, as I said, about a couch.
Alan Bishop kind of taking a nonchalant attitude there. He doesn't know really what's happening. That first time in the championship round is tough. As we see Derek Williams going for an easy spare.
You know, Alan getting up now, he, like most of us first time out on a television interview, couldn't find the words to express himself. But I'll assure you he'll get better because he's a neat guy. 28 years old. It's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Well, he throws a very powerful ball, and it's either all or nothing. And right now, he's got a tough first shot. You see that he stands all the way back in the approach, takes a 4-step delivery as opposed to 5, tucks that swing in there, the big turn on the ball, sends it out wide. It doesn't hang out there like it was, and he leaves the 2-4-7-10. As you see him taking the full grip, he needs to get the ball to the left of the 2-pin.
Well, it's an open frame in a tough situation.
Alan Bishop on this championship pair, he bowled 3 games during the week and averaged a fabulous 249. So we know he can strike. It's a matter of loosening up. It's tough when you start with an open frame.
Last block, he won 7 of 8. Boy.
Well, it looks like the same story we've seen the 3 consecutive weeks, and this being the 4th on the Professional Bowlers Tours, as the oil on the lanes begins to carry down and the players can't get the required hook. Now here, you watch the ball come in here. All he needs to do is hit the 3 and let the ball or the pin take out the 9. But once again, following up the lane conditions, heavy oil 45 feet, carries down to about 50 feet. The players can't make the turn. Tough scores.
He's sponsored on the tour by a video entrepreneur named Terry Snyder and has really helped him a lot. Now, back to Derek Williams, who won his match against Stephen Hardy, 203 to 163. He started out with a spare, leading by 12, second frame. Body English
7-7
to no avail.
But what he is doing, he's playing a line that goes right between the first and second arrow, swinging out to the edge into the 1-2 pocket. You see the action. You'll see the head pin go to the sideboard and try to take out the 7, not the B. See if he can make it.
Okay, we're in our second match, and immediately following 2 more matches, it'll be ABC's Wide World of Sports.
At the last moment, he was on standby Monday. We had a 160-man field. As you see him using the full approach, and he was on standby. Somebody canceled out. Allen got in, and so he's trying to parlay it all the way to the top.
Alan Bishop tells us how he got started on tour and who's kept him on the road.
Well, I got started in junior leagues. Then I went on to work for Bowling Alley, Executive Bowl in Louisville. Then I got to sponsor Roadrunner videos out of Louisville. And he sponsored me. He stuck with me for the last 5 years. And he's been a really good sponsor. And thank you, Terry.
Trailing by 11. Now he trails by 1. Okay, here's a song that took Joey D and the Starlighters to #1 30 years ago this week.
For more exciting bowling lingo, watch the flagship City Open next week on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
Yes, we look forward to returning to the championship on the shores of Lake Erie, the Flag City Open, 3 Eastern Pacific, 2 Central. Derek Williams of Texas Groves. Broke up that 7-10 beautifully, leaving only the 7. Very good second match here as Derek won the first one over Stephen Hardy, 203 to 163. Sort of reminds me if you've ever had an MRI test, seeing that ball return. Whew, tight quarters, huh? Okay, he continues to mark. Consistent Derek Williams. Bo?
Thank you, Chris Cagle. Jason Couch, never before in a championship round. How do you feel before you go out?
Well, I'm a little nervous, Bo. I'm just going to try and be determined to get my knee bend down, follow through with the shot, and the lanes look like they're pretty nice, so if I don't bowl a good game, it's my fault.
My goodness, Chris, he's got a game plan, so he's a little bit ahead of a lot of them. Back to you.
Beautiful attitude. Derek Williams, too, but he'd be a little disconcerted with that 6-7-10 that he's going to be faced with now. He was leading by only 1, and what can happen here, the damage can be pretty vast because his opponent, Alan Bishop, has a couple up.
He has to get the ball to the right of the 6-pin, drive it over into the 7. Tough shot, especially for a lefty.
Okay, now, after that open frame, Alan Bishop can add to his cause a double working. Shooting here in the second game. Leading by 3, he can increase it to 13. To 23, excuse me.
Yikes.
That is ugly, ugly, ugly.
4, 6, 7, 8, 10 splits.
Well, he has two things he can do here. He can either go on this side of the pins and go for the pin count, try to slide some pins over, but the best way to try to make it is go over in the 6-10 zone and try to slide the 6 over into this cluster. Let's see what he does. Pin count's important.
Oh!
I know that Sonny France in Louisville came right out of his chair. That's where this young man practices for free. Alan Bishop.
Whew. Chris, I can't remember that 5-pin combination ever being made in the championship round before.
Never.
And there again, those sideboards, and we talked about that pin deck area being very smooth, allowed those pins to bounce around. Great shot. He leads by 8-pin, 6-frame.
Now the adrenaline.
Bishop strikes.
He's pumped. Well, let's see how Derek Williams responds now.
Boy, that's a good point. After a player makes a big split like that, you're sitting on the bench, you think you're going to have maybe a 5 or 6-pin lead. All of a sudden, you're trailing by 8. Let's see what Derek Williams does. He trails by 8, 6-frame.
The only kind of response, right, Nelson?
That's the way to do it. And Williams showing him some experience, whether his brother gave him some advice in between games or not. As the oil carried farther down the lane, Derek Williams has moved towards the center of the lane, a very cerebral move. He's not playing that wide, big hook as his opponent, Alan Bishop, is doing. And this is really the right move, a very experienced move, and I believe his brother must have said something to him. Great idea. But you can't swing it wide. The previous frame, he kept that ball almost straight down the second arrow. Ball set up in the pocket. That time he sent it very wide. Once again, the 3-7 split. Get the ball to the right of the 3-pin, drive it over into the 7.
Tough break for Derek Williams in our second match. He won the first. We'll be back after this. Yo, Quaker State, Jack Korn on the right, and Vice President of Marketing, Scott Chickering. And my all-time favorite golfer with his wife, Peggy, Byron Nelson, the legend.
Now Bishop up, 20-pin lead, 30-pin lead now.
You know, from time to time, Bo, we look-alikes. Walter Ray Williams, professional. I always said he looked like Errol Flynn. Does this young man look like actor Robert Taylor?
Very closely, yeah, he does resemble. Hey,
come on, look
Alan
up, Alan.
Bishop. Yeah, closely
there,
remembered.
there.
Let's see how he's playing the lanes. Robert Taylor doesn't know how to play the lanes like this. Start here, row there, throw that ball out in this area. You will have a 40-pin lead if you get a good break on the pins.
Really lost his balance at the line, leaving only the 4-7, though.
Well, players all over, not consistently in the pocket. We've seen it all week long where the players are just pounding the pocket, pounding the pocket. This young man averaged the lowest of any of the 5 finalists on the championship pair, just 201, but right now he's in a position to take a 28-pin lead.
With a lot of speed, marking with a spare. Alan Bishop now back to Derek Williams.
Alan Bishop going at a 2:01 pace. Derek Williams with some strikes can finish at 2:03. He can still make a match of it. 3 frames left.
Attaboy. Bo will be giving you the other top 24 finishers. I can point out that Marshall Holman finished 27th. Ron Palumbi of Erie, 29th. Danny Weissman, 36th. Brian Voss, 47th. Dave Houston, 39th. And Bob Handley, 38th. Our score statistician, many-time champion, Del Ballard, out of the money, but he'll be back.
Well, Williams just struggling on the left-hand lane. He's high, then he's light, then he's high, then he's light. Right now he's left the 1-3-9. Has to get the ball to the right of the head pin. Still has a potential 183. Seeing the ball, throwing the ball a little bit too hard. Slides by the head pin. All right, for Bishop, who in the previous 2 frames has had 1 great shot in the 7th frame and a great split conversion in the 5th frame, has a 28-pin lead, 9th frame.
Right. Giving everyone quite a show. Alan Bishop of Louisville, Kentucky.
The revolutions of the ball, the big hook, and the tremendous pin action. He almost leaves a solid 8. Head pin goes to sideboard, jumps off those lively sideboards across that smooth pin deck, takes out the 8 pin. Alan Bishop is on the threshold of winning his first game in a championship round. 10th frame. Even though he has slid by the head pin and left the 3-7 split, the 3rd time we've seen that split today by one of the combatants out in the championship round, he has the match well in hand.
Well, we've had 2 matches. We have 2 different winners. Derek Williams, who lost now,